Right, so it's been quite a while since I did upload the last video on this YouTube channel, and that's because I've been making really good progress on the Batman stop motion film, which I announced in that last video, and I'm now basically at a point where I'm ready to start building the large scale Gotham MOC, which once that's done, I've basically got a few things to film with that, and then I'll be in post-production of the stop motion film, so that's really good. And what that does mean is we're going to have quite a good steady flow of content leading up to that film and even a little bit after that. So I'm thinking I'm going to start off with this update series, which will be 4 updates and released every 2 weeks, and then after that, 2 weeks after the final update, I'll have the film. Then 2 weeks after that, probably a behind the scenes video if there's enough interest in that. I've been shooting some footage for that as well, so that could come together quite nicely. And after that, the mock showcase for this Gotham MOC. Now, let me know what you think of that release schedule, because obviously it's prioritising the film over the mock showcase. So leave a comment down below what you think about that idea. But if you didn't see that last video, you may be wondering how this Gotham MOC is going to work. Is it just going to be what I did before, just repeated? No, is it just going to be the same? Well, my main idea is I want to try and change it fundamentally. So essentially, I'm no longer going to be building outwards like you more typically would with a city MOC, but instead building upwards, stacking different aspects of the city on top of each other, different buildings. So at the bottom level, I'd have more of a deprived area of Gotham, perhaps with a disused train line, and then maybe some secret areas like a Lazarus pit like we sometimes see featured under Gotham. Then in the middle section, I'm thinking of having an area that's got some Chinese and maybe Japanese elements all moulded together. And then also the final level would be the more business district of Gotham with the modern buildings, but then also the more grand Gothic buildings. Now with this update series, I want to try a few different things. I want to experiment a little bit because the last few I've done have all been quite similar, and it's been a while since I did that Camino update series. So I've had a few ideas and a few things that I want to explore and a few things I want to try and change. So definitely leave comments down below on any of your thoughts about the video, how I'm doing it, anything you'd like me to add and so on. One thing that I thinking about adding is that at the end of all the updates, bar this one, I'd have a question and answer section where I'd answer a question from the previous update that was maybe a recurring question from that comment section. But without further ado, it's time to start building Gotham. So at this stage of the MOC, it can be really difficult because I'm planning where everything's going to go, and for this MOC I didn't really do much pre-planning. I only did a few rough sketches to get an idea of how it's going to look, so that does make this stage really difficult because you are constantly second guessing yourself, because everything you do now has a huge effect later and really won't be able to be changed. So for this MOC, I did actually order quite a large Bricklink, and that was mainly to focus on getting some different colours to use for the MOC, because in my collection I do have quite a small variety of colours, and for this MOC it's really important I try and use different colours to just give it some variety, give it some character. Now, I did also decide to actually order some printed pieces as well, mainly focusing on these sort of Chinese window pieces that are going to be really helpful for the middle section of the MOC. Now, for the first time also, I did decide to order some sticker sheets from sets that I don't actually own. Now, the main one that I wanted to get was Ninjago City sticker sheet, because some of the stickers on this sheet are going to be really useful to adding loads of different signs and things to that middle section of the MOC. Right, so at this point, I'm really happy with the progress that I'm making to the MOC. Now, I'll approximate, you know, by the end of this update, I'd hope to be about 1/3 through the MOC, so that's going to be the first layer done. Not all the details in place, not all the tiling and so on, but just the pure structure of it, and maybe a few details here and there where I won't be able to access later on. But that's really good progress, and I'm really on track to, I think, reaching that point by the end of this update. Now, I do have some concerns though at this stage, and one of them is that I'm burning through parts, I think, a little bit too fast, and I'm almost running out of some of the light bluish grey plate pieces. So I think I'm going to have to make another Bricklink order for that, which is a little bit frustrating, but it's just going to have to be done to even move on from this stage, because it's not going to be something I can come back to at the end and add in if I'd use a different colour now. And also another part is I'm using the 1x2 white pieces to create a curved roof for the underground station, which I think is going to get a really good effect if I can make it work. But the problem is because of the technique I'm using, these pieces are snapping back and are not holding in place. However, I think once the MOC is a little bit more progressed and there's the sections on top of that, it will hopefully weigh it down and keep them in place. Now, that is going to work because sections of the MOC are not going to come off in a modular style like I've done previously. It's more going to be sort of a dollhouse aesthetic where from the two back sides you'll be able to see inside loads of different rooms. But for now, I think it's time to get back to building and hopefully get to the point where I want to by the end of this update. So there we go, I've reached the approximate point that I wanted to by the end of this update, and I'm quite happy with the results so far. Now, one of the big things was I've actually managed to get those the curved 1x2 parts that I've flexed to actually stay in place. Now, hopefully as more weight gets put on top of that, they will become, you know, less precarious in that position. But I think what that's looking like at the moment under there is really good. Now, there are going to be more details, of course, added to this underground station and all over the MOC, so nothing is final at this point, really. Now, another thing I'm happy with, but was also really difficult, is I kind of forgot to put some of the lighting in that I wanted to put in on this lower section, and that is something I'm going to really try and do across the whole MOC, is get a load of lights in, because one of the things that I have got is a while back when I went to Hong Kong, I bought some really good lights for Lego. Now, they're quite different to the ones I've had in the past, as they're kind of built into a 1x4 brick, but they are so bright, which is really good because they actually have an impact and are visible. And I'm also going to be using the lights I've used previously, the Like My Bricks lights, but I've only got one set of them, and they are used for the lights on the dock and then also some lights hanging around another pillar, and that was a really difficult thing to get put in place, getting them onto those dock lights, even because I actually forgot to put them in place previously. But they are in place now with a switch under part of the dock, and then I've started using some of the lights I got in Hong Kong already, but I've only used one so far, and that is in the Riddler's hideout, which I'm also happy with. There's still going to be tiling going off in there, and then under the Riddler's hideout is the Lazarus pit, which now it is quite small, but everything across this whole MOC is going to be of quite a small scale, just so I can get as much detail packed in as possible. So that does bring this update to a close. Now, definitely let me know what you think of the MOC down below in the comments. I have made quite a bit of progress this update, and I'm really happy with where I've got to so far. Next update, I really would like to be able to at least build maybe half of the middle section. It's going to be quite a lot more detailed, and this bottom section I haven't really detailed fully like it will be when it's finished. But that does bring this video to an end. Now, if you did enjoy it, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss those future updates and eventually the film when that comes out. But for now, thank you so much for watching.